So next up we have Fred Stankowski and Travis McWaters from Pepsi. Ross has your phone. No, Ross has your phone. Oh, Mike's. Get the clicker.
Good morning. I'm Fred Stankowski, and this is Travis McWaters. We're from PepsiCo Information Security, and we're going to talk about our detection catalog today and how it's been influenced by the ATT&CK framework. This is a very high-level overview of our organization today. I don't think it's anything anybody here hasn't seen before. The big takeaways, there are two of them. The first will be that this has been a journey for us. We were a very compliance-focused organization initially. We've now migrated to much more threat-oriented and security operations-oriented organization. And Travis and myself are part of the threat detection operations part of this, and we focus on threat hunting and managing the detection catalog. So why do you need a detection catalog? So I think a lot of the themes here we've heard yesterday, and they'll probably continue on today. The first is you need to have a historical record. So what kind of things did we do 6 months ago? What kind of decisions did we make when we're looking at logs and analysis? What do we want to do going forward, and where do we track that? Additionally, it's knowledge transfer. So we went from a 2-person organization to a 7-person organization. As part of that, how do I get somebody involved in understanding our environment quickly, and how do we communicate how we can detect and where we can detect? Additionally, is how do I express that to my threat intelligence organization? How do I express that to my incident response organization as well as to my senior leadership? Additionally, it's work management. So it's not just, the big part of this is who's on first, who's doing what are they focused on? But additionally is as you start building your detection catalog, you're developing processes. And those processes lead forward to being able to develop workflows, automation, and capture metrics. So we didn't have a spreadsheet of pain, but we had a OneNote of pain. This was our first go with this. As you can see, we started deciding what kind of things we wanted to capture as far as data points were concerned, as well as our first go of what our naming nomenclature was going to be. We evolved to this into an open source ticketing system. You can see we started improving our naming nomenclature. We started being able to capture metrics and taking advantage of what a ticketing system can do for you. There's some pluses and minuses, but it did allow us to have some exposure to automation, as well as improving our workflow, as well as being able to capture more specific parts of each detection as we went on. So today, we've moved into a wiki, and as a part of this migration, we moved to Palantir. They have an ADS framework, which is open source and on GitHub, and it's essentially a framework that allows you to decide how you build out your detection catalog, and it has a very rigorous set of explanations of why you do certain things you do in your detections. Very rigorous. It allows us to do a much better job detailing why we're doing what we're doing with each detection. And as a part of this migration, we also moved into looking at moving the entire thing into a, we're using Bitbucket here, but into a repo. So we want to be able to push the entire thing into some place where we have all the goodness you get, we're in a repo. In this case, we're focused primarily on what we're doing around automation, but initially we want to have everything over in there. And I'll turn it over to Travis.
So this is an example, there's like one more button there. Example ADS entry, this is the Palantir framework, which if you haven't seen, I highly recommend. You talk about your goal, the categorization, a strategy abstract, which is kind of the high level, what are you trying to do? And then you get into the technical context, which will be specific to your environment about here's where I have detection capability. You talk about your blind spots, which are both in the rule and also in your environment, where you get any false positives, and perhaps the best part, how you validate to make sure that when you want this thing to fire, it really does fire, and a little bit about priority and the response plan for your SOC analyst when this does go off. What are you doing about it? Go ahead. So in terms of lessons learned, I think the first and perhaps most important is that nomenclature matters. How you talk about things affects how you view them. And having the framework from MITRE gives us a good language to share with each other about this is what we're looking for, this is what we're detecting. The other thing that I think we wish we had done differently is just go ahead and get into a source repo system sooner. The sooner you're in that mindset of having versions, keeping track of history over time, the better off you will be. And then finally, good documentation helps mitigate attrition and change in your environment when you have SOC analysts or even people on our team coming and going as your team grows. That pain that comes with that is lessened by having good documentation. So I finished with less than 5 minutes. Good for us. Cool. And No time for questions, but you can find us both. We'll be around for the rest of the day. Thank you both.